How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing good. If you want to talk some hoops, we could talk some hoops. I mean, last night, I'm not Galetti, obviously, but, the game last night between Albuquerque and Valley came down to the last second shot. Anthony Chavez did a great job. He's a fantastic up-and-comer. Valley pulls out a big one over Albuquerque, 41-40 in a thriller. You guys carried it. Wonderful job last night.
Well, you were listening then, you're telling me.
I was kind of in and out, different places, but yeah, I know, you guys were on top of it as usual, and great game here in the Metro. I mean, it's one of the deepest, oldest rivalries, and 41-40 wasn't, expecting to see anything less.
Sounds like a defensive struggle. Anthony Chavez, by the way, will be my, I will announce later the full official thing, but he'll be the ESPN Radio 1017, the team student athlete of the week, and I had him picked out for what he did earlier in the week, even before last night's game. So, yeah, that was a key game. I was at the Star Center, my second time of 3 days this week in the Star Center. I went to the Aggie game Monday night when they throttled Northern New Mexico College. I was there last night to see the Storm beat Volcano Vista, but I'll tell you, Volcano Vista hit 6 threes in a row in the fourth quarter. They reduced what had been a 20-point deficit to, they got as close as 6, and then the Storm went on another run with Marcus Hill and Marcus Williams to put that one away. And that was a big District 1 6A game because Volcano Vista knocked off Rio Rancho earlier in the week. And then over at Rio Rancho High School in the RAC, Cibola held on to beat Rio Rancho, which also had a last-second shot that missed, or they would have beaten and upset Cibola, which they'd lost to twice. So a lot of good basketball going on. The district tournaments start a little more than a week, but we got some big games coming up this next week, including Cleveland at Cibola on Tuesday and Rio Rancho at Cleveland on Friday. What else is on your mind high school-wise today, Kyle? And I don't know why I just spaced that. I gave my producer the list of who's on. I got it written down right here in front of me, and all of a sudden I segued without looking to Scott Galetti. So that's an E6 I'll take.
Well, I think, there's some interesting storylines, as you mentioned. I mean, we could talk District 1 6A all day long. I mean, Cibola right now in the lead of that district, but things could change. I mean, we're only, at the tail end, and then, of course, they have the district tournament. I think that's obviously the marquee district to watch as we head down the stretch. I mean, you're starting to feel and starting to smell March Madness is certainly in the air. And on the women's side, I mean, the same thing. You have Cibola and Volcano Vista out of that district that are just doing a fantastic job. And then you have Carlsbad. Carlsbad is another 6A ladies team to watch. They're 22-3, I believe, on the season. Somewhat of a team that people aren't really talking about. And then in the smaller classes, you have Tularosa. The Tularosa Lady Wildcats, 24-0 on the season. And then you have the Gallup Lady Bengals also undefeated. I believe they are 23 or 24-0 on the season. So some good storylines as we move to March. And, it's always an exciting time, especially when you get to that district tournament standpoint. And, a lot of things can change. And, the New Mexico Activity Association does a fantastic job running the state tournament. And really eager to see some of these matches as they swing forward.
Yeah, and I didn't realize Tularosa had that great of a record. Gallup being undefeated, also not surprising. I've seen them play, and they're knocking off 6A teams. Those Bengals are really well coached, and the Gallup boys are also having a great season. And you mentioned the Carlsbad girls, and I don't normally keep up with that district's girls action, but boy, the Carlsbad boys are also a threat out there in District 4 6A. Hobbs beat Clovis last night, but Carlsbad's going to play a role and certainly be at the state tournament again.
Yeah, I mean, as you look kind of at the statewide scope of high school basketball, the action and the headlines are usually kind of in that District 1 6A, but as you mentioned last night, there was a big game between Valley and Albuquerque. That district is somewhat still up for grabs, and then moving south, you have the Oñate Knights, who we have ranked number 1 in the state of New Mexico, led by Johnny McCants, really the state's, biggest Division I prospect. I believe he just got an offer from UTEP, and he has a couple other schools of interest on board. But if you've seen him play, I think he's been up to the Metro a couple times. I mean, he's someone that can pour, 18 and grab 13 boards a night. And, he's just a fantastic athlete. And then you have the Carlsbad Cavemen. They've been a little bit banged up, but they're led by junior post player Brandon Boatman, who's, I think, 6'8", somewhere around there. He's been banged up most of the season. But, I think there's some great parity this year. I think last year, we kind of knew that Hobbs and Cleveland would probably get to the state championship. This year, your guess is as good as mine. Well,
it might even be better. Boatwright, you mentioned, he's leading the state in blocks and rebounds per game, so he's having quite a season. And I still don't know why Max Preps has 2 separate places here for points per game. They got Clay Patterson leading in one at 21.6. That's going to go down a bit after last night's game. And they got Boatwright in another list at 17.6. So I guess there's some information missing there. How about Anything new on the front from football? Any new coaches? We talked about Scott Hennington a week or so ago. We talked about Judge Chavez. Anything else on the forefront? Any news in the high school football ranks?
Yeah, actually we've been highlighting a couple up-and-coming prospects from the class of 2017, and you can read all those articles again on nmpreps.com. But two guys that we recently featured are two big 6'7" linemen. We have 6'7", 220-pound Bryce Wade out of El Dorado High School. I mean, El Dorado just continues to pump out top-tier athletes from Zach Gentry to Noah Schweitzer. And it looks like Bryce Wade could be the next guy coming out of El Dorado. I mean, his father, I believe, played some Division I football, 6'7", 230.
Wow.
Started all year for the El Dorado Eagles. He'll be returning as a senior. And then recently we featured Logan Hurts, who I'm sure you know about, 6'7", 260 pounds as well. And got some good coaching from Rio Rancho as well as hanging around with Grant Herman. So there's some big-time linemen coming out of these top-tier high school football programs. So we've been spinning out on that. Of course, we cover all high school sports, year-round, but football is definitely our bread and butter. So keeping up with some of these guys from the class of 2017 has been enjoyable, and looks like we have some big-time prospects coming up.
Well, you talked about a couple of big linemen. How about some offensive threats that are going to catch college coaches' eyes, guys that are juniors or sophomores right now?
Sure. I think there's one guy out of Maysville High School by the name of Isaac Vance. He's a running back who had close to 2,000 yards rushing. He just did a fantastic job for the Maysville Trojans. He's going to be a big-time commodity come the 2016 high school football season. You also have another running back by the name of Micah Gray. One guy we certainly have tabs on. He's out of Clovis, the next running back in the Clovis Wildcat lineage. You also have Amari Samuels. Now, he's one guy that I would probably say is the most marketable prospect coming out of New Mexico in the class of 2017. He's out of Las Lunas High School, floating around 200 pounds, already has an offer from New Mexico State. He's really a 4'4", 4'3" guy, and someone we're really excited about. And then lastly, Jordan Bird, of course, out of the class of 2018, out of Manzano. And Manzano's got some very, very good talent coming up in the pipes. I think Coach Adcox and the Monarchs are going to be definitely improved for 2016.
Let me ask you about another guy, Josh Foley.
Josh Foley, there you go. I mean, another guy out of Rio Rancho. In fact, I know it's way too early to talk high school football rankings, but, with the Rams returning the guys that they do, like you mentioned, Josh Foley, Logan Hurts, they got some good quarterbacks coming back. It's going to be a quarterback battle, and they got guys like Vinny Palmieri. They have Elijah Goodwin. So I think they returned 16 starters or something like that. I had to double-check, but Josh Foley certainly on our list. And I truly believe, watching the Foley boys coming up, that he is the best high school football player of the bunch, and that says a lot because all those guys are gamers. But Josh just does something special with that speed that he has. He's another 4'4" guy, and wouldn't be surprised if he gets a Division I offer, within the next 5 months.
Yeah, I saw him at the New Mexico Bowl with his dad. He said he was feeling pretty good and looking forward to this coming season. Yeah, Rio Rancho, the big question there will be who's going to be the starting quarterback, because it had been Derek Carrasco after the Bailey incident, and then Nick Little started the final game, and Logan Bruer's in the mix, so there's going to be a battle for starting quarterback. How about anything, any tips, things to look for in high school baseball? Then we're going to say goodbye.
Well, high school baseball, I think, you got to start out with the El Dorado Eagles returning Nate Guiley, one of the big-time prospects out of the class of 2016. Jim Johns just continues to reload. The El Dorado Eagles have a couple other guys that are notable. Volcano Vista is led by Tanner West. They're going to have a deep bullpen. Tanner West is committed to Arizona State. Also, like the Carlsbad Cavemen, they're led by a big lefty by the name of Trevor Rogers, 6'4", 220 pounds. He'll only be a junior. And then, of course, you got Ron Murphy's bunch out of Rio Rancho, as we mentioned earlier. Those guys just continue to reload, looking for a big season from Chris Carr.
Nobody does it better. That's Kyle Henderson, nmpreps.com. Thanks, Kyle. We'll talk to you next week. Have a great weekend. Make sure you do something special for your little lady tomorrow.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
All right. That's Kyle Henderson. We're going to come back and really talk to Scott Galletti after this timeout. You're listening to the Team High School Show. I'm Gary Herron. Stick around.
Hi, this is Blake Swihart with the Boston Red Sox, and you're listening to the Team High School Show with Gary Herron.